The Lemp Mansion, a place where shadows move when no one's looking, where whispers echo through empty halls, and where the dead refuse to rest. For over a century, this mansion has been the site of unspeakable tragedy, suicides, dark secrets, and spirits that still walk its corridors. Tonight, we uncover the most terrifying stories of the Lemp Mansion. But be warned, once you hear them, you may never sleep the same again. 1. The Office. Where he died. The Lemp Mansion had always drawn ghost hunters and skeptics alike. But for Mark, it wasn't a game. He was a historian, researching the tragic death of William Lemp Sr., who had shot himself in his office after the death of his son. One stormy night, he was given special permission to stay overnight in the mansion, alone. Armed with a voice recorder and a notebook, he sat in the office where William had died, staring at the old wooden desk. He took a deep breath and pressed record. "William, if you're here, can you give me a sign?" Silence. Then, a soft creak. Mark felt the hairs on his arms rise. The temperature in the room plummeted. "William," a breath, right behind him. He turned, heart pounding, but there was nothing there. Just shadows stretching across the room. Then the gunshot, loud, deafening, echoing off the walls. Mark screamed and dropped the recorder. His chest ached as if he had been shot himself. He scrambled for the device, his fingers trembling. He played back the recording. At first, only silence. Then, a man's voice, low and choking on sorrow. "He was my son, my boy." Then, the unmistakable sound of a revolver cocking. Mark left that night and never spoke of it again. 2. The Boy in the Attic. Jenny didn't believe in ghosts. That's why she agreed to spend a night alone in the Lemp Mansion's attic, the very place where, according to legend, the secret son of the Lemp family had been locked away, hidden from the world. She set up a small camera, placing it near an old rocking chair that had been in the attic for decades. Then, she waited. By 2 a.m., nothing had happened. Then, the chair moved. Jenny sat up straight. It was slow at first, almost unnoticeable. Then it rocked again. A child's laugh, high-pitched and breathy, echoed across the attic. Jenny's heart pounded in her chest. She grabbed her flashlight and shined it toward the chair. Nothing. Then she heard it. Small footsteps scuttling across the wooden floor. The flashlight flickered. And then she saw him. A boy, maybe 8 years old, standing at the far end of the attic. His face was wrong. His features sunken, twisted. His eyes were wide, staring at her with something that wasn't human. Then, he ran straight toward her. Jenny screamed, bolting for the attic door. The handle was ice cold, her fingers slipping as she desperately yanked it open. The last thing she heard before she fled was a whisper, impossibly close to her ear. "Play with me." Jenny never spoke of what she saw, but she never stayed in the dark alone again. 3. The Man in the Bathroom. Samantha worked the closing shift at the Lemp Mansion restaurant. She had heard the stories about a ghostly man lurking in the women's restroom, but she never paid attention. Until that night. She had just finished cleaning the stalls when the light flickered. Then, she heard it. A deep exhale. Slow. Heavy. Coming from behind her. She spun around, her breath catching in her throat. The stall door was closed. She knew for a fact she had left it open. With shaking hands, she knocked once. No answer. Then, the sound of someone stepping forward inside the stall. She stumbled back, her heart hammering. The air around her grew thick, like something unseen was standing right next to her. Then, the door creaked open. slowly. Inside, no one was there. But the mirror above the sink had fogged over, and written in the condensation, as if by an unseen hand, were 3 words. "I see you." Samantha ran. She never went back. 4. The thing in the basement. The basement of the Lemp Mansion was once a part of the brewery. Now, it was something else entirely. Derek and his team of ghost hunters had heard the stories, the shadows, the growling, the feeling of something watching from the dark. They descended the old stone steps, their flashlights cutting through the thick, damp air. Almost immediately, something felt wrong. The basement was too silent. Not the comforting silence of an empty room, but the kind that felt alive. Derek aimed his camera toward the far corner. His stomach dropped. There was something standing there. At first, it looked like a shadow, but then it moved. A tall, twisted figure emerged from the darkness. Its body was wrong, shifting as if it were struggling to hold its form. Then, the growl. Low, guttural, ancient. The lights flickered, and then the thing rushed at them. They ran, scrambling up the stairs, the growling right behind them, so close Derek could feel the breath on his neck. The moment they reached the top, the growl stopped. But when they played back the footage later, they saw something that made their blood run cold. A pair of glowing red eyes, staring back at them from the darkness. 5. The last Lemp suicide. Charles Lemp was the last of his family to live in the mansion. He ended his life there in 1949. But some say he never left. David, a guest staying at the mansion turned in, had read about Charles. He was fascinated by the tragic history. At 3 a.m., he awoke to a sound, a slow, dragging shuffle, like someone walking across the carpeted floor. David sat up in bed, his pulse pounding. Then, the closet door creaked open. Inside, it was pitch black. David grabbed his phone and snapped a photo. He didn't check it until morning, and when he did, he wished he hadn't, because standing in the closet was a man, tall, with hollowed-out eyes and a twisted smile. David left that morning, never speaking of what he saw. But when the hotel staff checked the room later, they found something strange. The bed had been neatly turned down, as if someone had slept there the night before, someone who was never supposed to be there. The Lemp Mansion holds more than just history. It holds the echoes of the past, the cries of the forgotten, and the spirits that will never leave. If these stories sent chills down your spine, imagine what else lurks in the dark, waiting to be discovered. If you want more terrifying tales like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you dare, leave a comment below. Would you spend a night in the Lemp Mansion? Until next time, stay in the light.